I would like to begin with a question. And the question is, let's say you're going to Florida on a vacation, and you don't want to take your Rolex with you to Florida because on the beach it might get ruined. Or let's say you have a nice 5-carat diamond ring, and you don't want to take it with you to Florida. So you take your Rolex and your ring, and you go to your next door neighbor. And you say to your next door neighbor, Baruch, do me a favor. I am going away for a week. Please watch this for me. A week later, you come back, and you say to your friend, so can I have my Rolex back? Can I have my ring back? And your friend says to you, I'm so sorry, but it was stolen over the weekend. Is he liable? Must he pay you back for the ring and the watch? Or do we say that being that he is a shomer chinam, which means he watched your watch without any money, he was an unpaid watchman, therefore he's not liable. Another question. Let's say your friend has a Ferrari, and you like a Ferrari, and you tell your friend, do me a favor, I would like to borrow your Ferrari for a week. I'm going on a shidduch, I'm trying to get married, I want to impress, the person I go out with. Give me your Ferrari for a week. And as you're driving the Ferrari, boom, you smash the Ferrari. Or the Ferrari was outside your house overnight, and there was a nice red Ferrari, and the next morning you woke up, it was gone. Are you liable? Must you pay for the Ferrari or not? These and more questions are the questions that we are going to be dealing with tonight. The Rambam, in his Sefer HaMitzvos, commandment number 242 and 243, and similarly, the Torah, in this week's Torah portion of Mishpatim, chapter 22, talks about these mitzvos. As the Torah says, Ki yitein ish al re'ehu chamor oy shor oy seh, v'chol behema lishmer. If a person will give his neighbor a donkey or an ox or a sheep or any animal to watch, umeis oy nishbar oy nishba, and then the animal will die, or a limb will be broken, or the animal will be captured, in other words, stolen, etc., etc. What is the law for these cases? And basically, it is broken up into 4 different baileys, 4 different shoimrim, 4 different type of watchmen. The first one is called the shomer chinam, and that is the unpaid watchman. The law is that the unpaid watchman is not liable to anything because he was unpaid. In other words, as long as he was not negligent, he is not obligated to pay you back for the object. So you gave him your watch, you gave him your 5-carat ring, or you gave him your donkey to watch. And overnight, after he went to sleep, a ganif, a thief, came into the house and stole it. You are not liable. It is not your fault. You locked the doors. You put the diamond, let's say, into the safe. And overnight, the thief came and opened the safe, and he stole the diamond or took the donkey. You are not liable. That is because you are a shomer chinam, an unpaid watchman. But if you left the door opened, then you are liable. Then you have a second watchman called the shomer sachar. This is a paid watchman. You're paying the watchman to safeguard your objects. Now, if it is stolen, he is liable because of the fact that you paid him. You expect that the level of security should be stronger. Now, if armed robbers come to the house and say, give me the 5-carat diamond ring, you're not obligated to give up your life for it. That was not part of the contract. But you are liable if a thief comes into the house overnight. Similarly, there is a third type of person or a watchman known as the seicher. That is the renter. The renter says, I would like to rent your car for a day or two. I would like to rent the Ferrari. Or I would like to rent a drill to make some holes in my wall. And I will pay you for that. The law is that the seicher, which is the renter, has the same law as the paid watchman. And that is, if at night the drill gets stolen, you are liable. But if you are negligent, you are also liable. However, you are not liable if armed robbers come to your house and want to take your Ferrari or want to take your drill because of the fact that you are having benefit from it. Therefore, you have a certain level of responsibility to protect this object. Finally, we have the fourth type of watchman called the shoyel. The shoyel says, I would like to borrow for free the Ferrari, or I would like to borrow the drill, or I want to borrow your ox to go schlep my plow. Here we say the shoyel, which is the borrower, is liable for everything. And the reason is, he is getting all the benefit. He is not paying for the benefit. Therefore, even if the animal dies at night, in its sleep, you are liable to pay back for that animal. You are a shoyel. You are the borrower. You are reliable for everything. A shoyel is like one who takes a loan. Okay, if I ask you to give me a loan for $100, and then God forbid armed robbers come and say, give me that money, so you have to give that $100. You are still responsible to pay it back. So therefore, the shoyel, the one who is the borrower, is liable for everything. So you have the shei mechinam, which is the unpaid watchman who's on one side, and the other extreme is the borrower on the other side. So the unpaid watchman is not liable for anything unless he's negligent, and the borrower is liable for everything, even if the animal dies in its sleep. Okay, so this is the basic halachas, and the Rambam talks about this in Sefer Hayad, in the Mishnah Torah, his magna opus, the tractate of Baba Metzia, and the tractate of Shavuos in the Gemara also talks about all of these details. However, how do we apply this to our daily life? How do we apply these laws on a more spiritual level? For every law that Torah gave us is to refine us and make us better people. So how do we understand these four different dailies, these four different watchmen in our daily life? In truth, says the Shalach HaKodesh, we are watchmen. God put us down in this world. He gave us a soul in the body, and in this world we are all watchmen. We have to protect the world. That's our job. We find that the very first man and woman, Adam and Eve, were put into paradise, li'avda u'lishamra, to work and to protect and to watch. They were watchmen. To work means to do a positive commandment. To watch means not to do negative commandments, not to violate the laws of the Torah. By doing the Torah laws, we are basically watching and protecting and enhancing the world. Now, there are 4 types of watchmen. You start off with the Shomer Chinam, which is the highest level. This is a person who says, God, I will watch your world for free. I will do the mitzvahs. I will study the Torah. I will pray day and night. I will help every person in despair. I will give all my money to charity. I will visit the sick. I will bury the dead. Whatever I can do to make the world a better place, to protect God's glory in the world, I will do. And I want nothing in return. That's the highest level, the Shomer Chinam. Then we move to the second level. The Shomer Sachar, that is the paid watchman. He's a person who says, God, I want to protect the world. I want to make the world a better place. I will fight for Jewish rights. I will fight for equal rights. I will stand up for Jewish pride. I will make the name of God known throughout the whole world. However, I want some type of reward. What am I asking for? It's not that I'm a selfish person. It's not that I'm egotistic or egocentric. But for me to be able to operate, I need my essentials, my bare essentials, my bare necessities. So therefore, I need banei, I need chaye, I need mezayne, which means I need to have a nice wife, I need to have a nice husband, I have to be married, number 1, so we can work together, we can support each other. Number 2 is, I want to have good children, healthy children. Number 3, I need to take a good parnasa. I can have money to have food on the table. If I have no food on the table, I can't do your work. So if you give me my bare necessities, my bare essentials, and you pay me for my work, I'll be able to devote my life to you day and night. That's the second level. A third level, which is very similar to the second level, is the seicher. That is the renter. And he says, look, I want to make a lot of money. I want to be rich and powerful and famous. I want to own a lot of real estate. I want to be a big tycoon, and I want to be powerful. I want to be every day in the papers. However, I realize that if I have benefit from this world, I got to pay back. So God, I'm willing to do for you also. I'll give tzedakah, I'll give charity, I'll pray 3 times a day. I'll do all the right things. But it's about me. An example in the Gemara is, if God forbid a person's son is not doing well, the child is sick, you tell God, I'm going to give sela zel tzedakah, I'll give this coin to charity, on the condition that my child will live. So really, I want something from you, God, but I'm willing to pay for it. I'm a renter. I want the Ferrari, but I'll pay for the Ferrari. I want the drill, but I'll pay for the drill. And then you have a fourth level, which is the shoyel. The shoyel is the one that is the borrower. And he basically says, the whole world was created for me. And he has a proof in the Torah. The very first pasuk in the Torah says, Bereishis bara elikim eis hashamayim v'eis haaretz. In the beginning, God created the world, the heaven and the earth. Says Rashi, Bereishis, God created the world for 2 things. He created the world for Torah, and He created the world for a Jew. Now really, it's for a Jew to study Torah. But this person says, God, you created the world for me, and therefore I want everything. And I deserve everything. And the truth is, there's a Mishnah in chapter 7 of Baba Metzia, which says that in truth, every one of us is B'nai Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. We are children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And therefore, we all deserve the best. We are princes and princesses. We are children of kings and queens. So there's nothing that is good enough for us. we deserve the best. Afilu sudash loima b'shaitoi. Even a meal that King Solomon served in his days is also not good enough for us. And therefore, we say, God, I want to enjoy the world, and you owe me everything. You're my father. Now, I understand I'm a watchman. I understand you want me to learn Torah, and you want me to pray, but it's not tit for tat. It's not tit for tat. We're not making any deals over here. You have to give me everything, and when I'll decide to learn, I'll learn Torah. When I'll decide to daven, I'll daven. I'm not going to daven so you give me money. Nah. You have to give me everything, God. But I'll return everything back to you. I'll treat the money with respect. I won't steal. I won't hurt people. But you owe me everything. That is the shoyel. That is the borrower. And again, he's also a shomer. He's considered to be one of the 4 watchmen. And therefore he's responsible even for an armed robbery. He's still responsible. But he wants to enjoy. Now, to understand a little better the second and third, which is the soicher and the shomer sachar, which is the paid watchman and also the renter. We can understand this with the following story. There's a famous story told how Rebbe and Rivka was once sick, and the doctors told her that you have to eat right away in the morning. The Tzemach Tzedek heard about this and called her in and said to his daughter-in-law, you should know that a Jew has to be strong. It says in the Torah, v'chai behem, you have to live by the Torah, not die by the Torah. Furthermore, what does it mean to live by the Torah? V'chai behem means to bring life into the words of Torah and prayer. V'chai behem means that you have to bring life into the mitzvah. Not to do a mitzvah reluctantly or half asleep or because I have to do it, but to truly do a mitzvah with joy and passion and with enthusiasm. So how do you do that? You have to have energy. You have to eat. So therefore you are to know that you get up in the morning and you should eat and then daven. Because what happened was, Rebbe Rivka, after she heard the doctor tell her that she has to eat right away in the morning, she did not want to eat before davening. So she got up even earlier, to daven even earlier, and then after that, she ate. So the Tzemach Tzedek said, no, you should know there are 2 types of people. There are those people who daven in order to eat. And then there are those who eat in order to daven. It's better to eat in order to daven than daven in order to eat. And we all know the feeling. Shabbos morning in the shul, service is already 3 hours long, and you smell the cholent, and you smell the schmaltz herring, and the aroma's coming into the shul, and the rabbi's trying to talk, and you're not listening to the rabbi talk. All you have in mind is that cholent, and the kishke, and the potato kugel, and the lakshan kugel, and the Yerushalmi kugel. That's on your mind. The rabbi, I'm sorry, I love you, but my mind is now on the kugel. So what do we say? What do we say? And the gefilte fish. So what do we say? Therefore we say, before you daven, eat something. Have a coffee, have a piece of cake, have some fruit, have some energy. So now you can daven with strength. That's the story. So the Rebbe explained this story, and he said like this, that there are 2 types of people. There are those who pray to eat, and those who eat in order to pray. What does that mean? There are those people who daven, and they're davening with enthusiasm, and they're shuckling away, and they're giving tzedakah, and they're really on time, and they're into the prayers. But what do they have in mind when they pray? I'm praying now, so I should make a lot of money today in the stock market. I'm praying now, I should sell a lot of food, a lot of clothing. I should be rich and buy a brand new house. God, come on, help me out over here. I need your help. That's why he's praying. Right? You look at the guy, you think the guy's a malach alikim. You think he's an angel. Look at the way he's shuckling away over here. Wow, I wish I could pray like him. In the meantime, what are you thinking about? When I put the money in the horse races, I should win. So that's a person who's praying in order to eat. This person is called the renter. The renter, he is concerned about driving the Ferrari. He's concerned about using that tool. He wants it for his benefit, but he understands that you got to pay money to get it. So he'll pray, he'll go study Torah, he'll give tzedakah, all the right things. But the objective is that he wants to have the object. The objective is his child should be well. And that's kosher. But he is praying in order to eat. Then there are those who eat in order to pray. That's a person who works, and he makes a very nice living, but he says, if I make even more money, I'll have more time to daven. If I make more money, I'll have more time to study Torah. If I make more money, I'll give more tzedakah. In other words, God, I want to do these things. I am a shomer sacher. I am a paid watchman. I want to watch your fields. I want to make the world a holier place. But I need you, God, to give me my needs, my bare essentials. And if I do that, and you give me whatever I need, I'll daven all day, I'll study Torah all day, I'll inspire people all day, I'll do whatever you want. So this is a person who eats in order to daven. In closing, the question is as follows. When Mashiach will come, what are we going to be? Now it's interesting to note that according to Kabbalah, these four shomrim, these four watchmen, represent the four letters of God's name. The Yud and the Hey and the Vav and the Hey. The highest being the Shomer Chinam, the one who serves God for nothing, the unpaid watchman. And then the one all the way on bottom, the Hey, which is the Shoyal, the one who's the borrower, who wants everything for himself. What are we going to be when Mashiach comes? The Rambam says in the final law of the 14 books of code that when Mashiach will come, man, at that time, there'll be no war, right? There won't be any hunger. There won't be any jealousy. And all the money and all the delicacies will be found like the dust of the earth. You'll have whatever you need. And the preoccupation of the entire world will be for one thing, only to know God. So perhaps we can say that when Mashiach will come, we are truly going to be the Shomer Chinam. We're going to be the unpaid watchman. What does that mean? We're not asking for anything. We have everything. We don't have to ask for anything. It's all there already. God has provided everything we need. We don't have to pray for it. All we have to do is one thing. Study the Torah. Pray to God. Do the mitzvahs. So we hope and pray that very soon we will see, as the Rambam concludes in his magna opus, that when Mashiach will come, the preoccupation will be only to know God, Kemayim layom mechasim, like the waters cover the seabed. And so shall it be, b'mheira b'yameinu.